we looked at 3 forms of assessment: initial, formative and summative assessment. Okay, so as you can see, that was the first form of assessment we decided to talk about, which was initial assessment. So we had a sort of discussion as a group, because we're all from different departments, and we wanted to sort of see why we used initial assessment. So,
well, basically, we use it on all our courses, and it's to gain a general insight into each individual's ability in literacy and maths, and also as a group to gain a knowledge of well, individual learning styles and overall group learning styles.
I work with family learning, so basically what we try to do is encourage the parents or the carers to work with their children, so in the way that they're taught in their classrooms today. So our initial assessment that we use would be perhaps to just sort of create a discussion to start with, because bearing in mind not all parents are there necessarily because they want to be there, they're for their children, so we have to sort of tread carefully. So we create discussion, we'll give them a little activity to do, and then it gives us an idea of what stage that they're at and what they want to learn for their children.
In transport training, some of our courses have initial assessment embedded, but the problem is they only give us a snapshot of a person's knowledge and abilities, so the initial assessment isn't necessarily much help when it comes to the course itself.
Within sport, the biggest sort of area of utilising initial assessment would be for me to differentiate between group members within the group, from sort of your learning styles right through to your numeracy, your literacy, and who you can direct questions at and sort of enable them to answer back with sort of better questions. And we'll move on. Okay, now we've completed the topic. Is everyone happy with what we've done?
Yeah, wonderful.
Fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, is there anything that anyone doesn't understand about the topic we've just covered?
That's fine.
I've just got a couple of issues, how a couple of points you made earlier on, you know, how they come together and how it all fits in with the whole framework of things.
Well, so you don't understand what you're doing. No problems with that. If you just look at the notes that we've covered, and you should be able to read up on that, and that will explain exactly what you're unsure about. Okay. Finish with. No? Anyone else?
Can I see you about this after the lesson?
Not after today's lesson. I'm really busy. If you come back early, next week's lesson, I can sort the problem out then. Any other questions? No. Brilliant.
They were blatant bad questions. In construction, again, we use use leading, open, and direct questioning. We place a lot of emphasis on formative assessment by compiling portfolios. These include photographic evidence, records of group discussions, so on and so forth. Okay.
Within the family learning, what we do is we observe, we have the parents and the carers for the first, say, hour and a half, instruct them what their children are doing in the class, and then we go get the children, bring them up, and I then observe the parents with their children, seeing how they instruct their children, how I perhaps show them how to do it just before that, making sure that they're perhaps, well, basically that they've learnt what I've already told them earlier on in the day. And also what we do is a learning log. So at the end of each lesson, the student will write down the learning log, what they've learnt, what they feel like they'd like to learn a little bit more about for the following session, and then what I do is take take that away, because not always does the student feel comfortable and perhaps saying in front of everybody else what they have problems with. So this is a good way of them letting me know, and then I can go home, look at their learner logs and go on for the next week.
I try to use questions that actually show whether or not the individual has got the knowledge that's necessary or has learned what they need to learn. So the questions tend to be quite specific. And also that can help highlight any weaknesses or gaps in their knowledge, which can then be dealt with however it's needed, depending on the type of course it is.
Within sport, the main reason for using formative assessment would be to sort of gauge the actual learning gain for the student from, say, the beginning of the lesson to the end of the lesson, and then potentially from lesson to lesson. So you can sort of ask the student questions, you can give them sort of scaffold sheets to actually test out their knowledge base. Just quickly, I'm going to replay these clips again, and I want you to have a think within your groups how you potentially might rephrase some of these questions. Bad questions. So in your groups now, would anyone care to have a go at trying to rephrase the last question? Is there any sort of... the question was...
I wanted to see you after class.
Yeah, we said, has anyone got any other questions?
Has anyone got any other questions? So how could you, as a teacher, as a lecturer, as an instructor, how could you rephrase that question?
It kind of cover points. So if you'd be like, next week, if you need any things about your assignment, come and see me before the lesson, 10 minutes before the lesson next week. So you wouldn't give like any other questions. You kind of cut in their bases. So assignment will be covered, etc. So work scenario will be covered. If you need to go over this again, you'll find this on Moodle page or etc. etc.
Yeah.
So you cover the bases.
The only thing is with that, I was actually playing the shy one in the clips, and I felt uncomfortable about something that I wanted to know about, and so that I could get ready for the following session. And the fact that he didn't perhaps have time to see me, you know, I just felt that that was a bit of a knockback. So if you have got a shy student in the class and they want to see you, that might have been the only chance that they might have come forward, had the confidence at that moment to come forward to see you. You know, so I guess you didn't know I was playing the shy student. But,
it was just a question, really. You can see you playing the side because your arms go up and down.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's, when he said any other questions, it kind of was the session finishing.
Right, I see.
It says understand the lesson. I thought you would have asked maybe then. But yeah, no, that's it.
How about, is there anything you'd like to ask me either now or later?
Okay, so yeah,
That'd be
you're
a better
sort of
version.
closing the question up and sort of limiting it to actually that lesson. So yeah, that could be potentially.
Or you can expand it saying, is there anything you'd like to ask me? And if we don't have time now, you can always email it on to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a brilliant way of doing it. With regard to these questions, maybe you remember.
With trying to think of
I think the first question does everyone understand the topic we've just covered?
Ask them to tell you what you've covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again,
Tell me
you
what
could,
we've done today.
Yeah.
brilliant. So you could actually direct the question at them and sort of ask a knowledge-based question. We've covered this today, and then ask a question about the actual.
Confirm knowledge,
Yeah.
Confirm the knowledge.
Give me two bits you've learned today. Each of you two things you've learned today.
Okay, so you're actually checking their learning within the question. Okay, good. This middle question.
It was when you didn't understand something, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shot down in
I
flames.
shot down in
Yeah.
flames.
So you could have asked him what it was he didn't understand, and then you could have, even if he didn't understand it, you said it, you could have got one of the other learners to explain it, and then you would have got it from a different angle, which might have been better.
No one wants to be put on the spot with a question, do you not understand? No one's going to go, because, you know, that's no good for your self-esteem, and it's going to make you feel stupid, so that needs complete rewording.
But there could be other parts. It's like, if you don't understand, there could be bits of it you don't understand. You're asking generally, do you not understand it? It's kind of, no one wants to admit they don't understand
Exactly.
the whole range. You want to,
Yeah. So you can sort of contextualise it and keep it to a certain point that you covered in the lesson.